Hey, so there's a little bit of an issue going on in the US of A called gun control, and it's kind of grown into a pretty big deal, so let's talk about it. Gun control, which has been an issue in the United States for a while now, has recently exploded into one of the country's most divisive topics. With more and more controversy spawning from shootings and rulings, the debate over gun rights couldn't be more urgent. Opinions on the topics are increasingly more divisive and ingrained, with no clear end in sight. So, one must ask, how did this happen? Well, it all begins with the creation of the Second Amendment. Back in 1791, it was commonplace for Americans to own weapons to protect their safety, a la self-defense. To protect this right and eliminate the need for a national army at the time, the Second Amendment was born, which said that the government cannot obstruct the right for Americans to keep and bear arms. Now, at the time, this was fine. It helped regulate militias for quick responses required by an area and protect the US from prospects of tyranny. However, due to the doctrine's details, this has resulted in today's political debate over gun control and what constitutes under the Second Amendment. In this debate, there are two major sides, those arguing for gun control and those arguing for gun rights. The gun control side believes that there should be more restrictions put in place, while the gun rights side believes that there should be less or no restrictions put in place. These two men, Raquan Brown and Mark Robinson, are both supporters for different sides of the debate.
And that's why I got involved in this movement, because so many people in my neighborhood, so many people even in my family have been murdered, that I figured I would be next. And I want to do something about that, because I shouldn't have to walk in fear in my neighborhood or anywhere, for that matter. And so to be able to join with my peers and so many other people in this country to fight against our unsafety and fight for our safety in this country, it's the most beautiful feeling.
I'm a law-abiding citizen who's never shot anybody, never committed a serious crime, never committed a felony. I've never done anything like that. But it seems like every time we have one of these shootings, nobody wants to put the blame where it goes, which is at the shooter's feet. You want to put it at my feet. You want to turn around and restrict my right, constitutional right that's spelled out in black and white. You want to restrict my right to buy a firearm and protect myself from some of the very people you're talking about in here tonight.
In my opinion, I believe that the Second Amendment and what it transcribes should still be valid, but there should definitely be more restrictions and protections put in place regarding gun purchases and gun ownership. A sort of middle ground between the two sides, you could say. This way, more protections are put in place to avoid certain incidents of gun violence without too heavily restricting or angering gun owners. The Denver Post, in an article titled Middle Ground Between Gun Control and Gun Rights, outlines this idea really well by providing examples on how Colorado could better enforce gun control and gun rights at the same time, with them listing a gun violence restraining order as one of these hopeful solutions. The problem of gun violence will likely not go away or be solved for a rather long time, but hopefully, through more conversations and compromises, a middle ground of sorts will be found between the two sides of this brutal debate.